What's up? All right. I know I'm late. I'm sorry. Chemo head is a thing. I'm gonna start by saying that chemo head is a thing. Okay. So I'm on day 15. We're having a good day. Today's a good day. I wanted to do this before it got too far along, and I couldn't taste anything anymore. So I had a little bit of whiskey last night when I did my deep dive, and I could taste it, and it tasted fine, and it wasn't funky. And I was like, you know what? You know what I need to do? I need to taste those samples of Shire Oak. This is the first one. It's cask strength bourbon whiskey. This is a single barrel. Now, Tim over at Shire, so we had to cut off early. He's busy. He's a busy man. He's a busy man over there trying to get his distillery back up. So, excuse me. I'm sorry. So this is 60% alcohol, 120 proof. So let's open it up. That's fresh crack. I'm just gonna pour a very little bit because I still got to do some work today. Well, by work I mean work. So Shire Oak, this is their bourbon. I don't know exactly how old this particular bottling is. I'm guessing it's fairly dark. That doesn't mean anything in Texas, right? Obviously in Texas we're getting a lot of color on our whiskey here, and it's just so happened to pick the certified Texas whiskey glass. So I'm going to do a little tasting for you. I know this might not be the best podcasting thing for you, but I'm going to release this as a video as well. So it'll be on the YouTube season. Okay. Let me do my nosy thing real fast. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of spice on the nose. I forgot to ask him if this was a weeded mash bill or if it had rye in it. I'm getting a lot of rye character out of it though. Toffee, like that they make this toffee, and it's the caramel toffee, whatever. I don't really know what toffee is. It like has butter in it, but it's like caramel, but it's hard. Anyway, but then they have like a layer of chocolate over the top of it, kind of like a Score. You ever had a Score candy bar? Those used to be my favorite because it had that toffee in it. But when we went to the beach a while back, they have this candy store. Why do they always have candy stores at the beach? That's weird. Anyway, because they know you're going to go and get some candy, right? That's what this kind of smells like, that toffee with a dark chocolate drizzled over the top of it. I mean, sounds good. Sounds good to me as a fat kid tasting those, you know what I mean? So it also, to me, I'm trying to talk a lot because if this is going to be on the podcast, I want to make sure that it has plenty of I don't want it to be like, oh, you should see me do this, like stupid stuff. So I'm trying to talk and nose it at the same time without having too much dead air, So it has an astringency to the nose, but it's not off-putting. It's not in the way that you would think it would be like. It's not like nail polish or anything like this. Now this is 60% alcohol, so 120 proof. Oh, I'm getting like an orange. Hold on. Did I splash it in my eye? No. I'm getting like an orange, but like a marmalade type. Okay, let's get in for the taste. Let's stop smelling it and taste it. So this is the first whiskey I've had today. I know if you look behind me, there's a bunch of whiskey, but I ain't drinking none of those today. Okay, right away on the palate, it explodes. It explodes with like a little bit of that toffee, but then like the crust on the creme brulee, that crusty sugar. It tastes like that, almost like burnt marshmallow, but not burnt marshmallow, kind of burnt marshmallow, not really. It's like that. Oh, wow. Okay, so now when you go back to the nose, it really it really kind of opens up because you're getting it's called retronasal, right? Because when you drink something, the fumes, especially something like this, the fumes go back into your nose and you can smell them. You smell them retronasally and nasally. So now when you smell, I'm getting a lot more like rye spice on it. I'm gonna have to ask Tim how much rye he put in this, because it's coming through, whatever. And watch it not even be rye. Watch it not even be rye. I guarantee you. Because what's funny is a lot of times on whiskeys that I think have a high rye mash bill or a potential rye spiciness, that rye sometimes can get. It's actually the barrel impacting with the corn like barrel spice instead of rye spice, which is kind of weird. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that has dark chocolate, a little bit of caramel, not much caramel on the second taste, but then it explodes into like when you smell coffee grounds, like the coffee grounds, how they just kind of envelop your nose. It's almost cleansing in the amount of it's almost effervescent too at the end, like on the back palate. Now it's almost like it's astringent to the point to where you're like, man, I need to drink it again, or I need some water, because it's like it's just coming. It like comes in waves, and it's really cool. It's a really cool sensation. It's a very good whiskey. Now that's the one called their Shire Oak. Okay, and that's their bourbon whiskey. So okay, so we're gonna pour up the next sample, and this one is, I'm gonna put it to the camera, but then I'll tell you as well. This is the Percheron. So the Percheron is French oak cask strength straight bourbon whiskey, finished on oak staves. Okay, so this is their cask strength bourbon whiskey, and then they finished it in French oak. Yeah. Okay, let's crack it open. All right. This one is 59% alcohol, 118 proof. We're pouring small samples today, guys. Small samples. Come on. Okay, so let's get into this one. And I know for the listeners out there, this isn't going to be very riveting. I mean, it's not very riveting for the guys watching either. It's just me nose in a damn glass. But oh wow, this one, night and day different. Night and day different. I got the chance to try this. So this one says straight whiskey. So it's minimum 2 years old, right? The other one didn't say straight. No, it didn't. No. So that one might not be fully matured yet, which that's fine. That's fine. The connotation for bourbon, it says it has to be in new oak. Doesn't say how long it has to be in there. But if you want the straight connotation, it has to be 2 years, right? So let's get into the nose on this one. This one, to me, it's a lot that toffee turned to coffee. Okay, like remember how I said on the other one you could smell like the coffee beans, right? This one you're smelling the coffee up front, but then there's a like maple syrup. It's like sticky, but it's also very there's like a citrusy note in there. That, what is that? I'm trying not to nose it for too long and keep talking for you guys. I'm sorry. It's like almost, I don't want to say grapefruit, because grapefruit is an off note. It's not grapefruit, but it's not like, it's not orange, and it's not lemon or lime. Maybe it's tangerine, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's some citrus note. What's that one? Quince? Is that one? Anyway, it has a citrus note on it. Let's get the taste. Woo. That one drinks hotter. That one drinks hotter than the other one. But man, that French oak, you can taste it right away. Oh yeah, you can taste it. It comes through. French oak to me always presents as like mocha or cocoa powder, stuff like that. So good. It's super dark, dense, molasses. It lingers for a long time. But that drink drank a little hotter than the first one. Let me get into it, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water to both of these, and maybe go back to them. I don't want to keep you too long. I know this is not riveting podcasting material, so, and I can't wait to get Tim back on, so we can talk a little more about Shire, and maybe he can. I would really love to go down there. Once I get through all this crap and go down there and do a tour, maybe do some video down there. That would be fun. That's one of the things I want to start doing once I get past all this bullshit is start going to distilleries more and doing more with those. I love talking to people. I love being there with them, but like being on site, watching the still go, watching, it's a different thing. Doing it over Zoom is a little difficult with schedule and all that sort of stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, man, it's like a cocoa bomb, cocoa overload, but it's like, oh, I found it. I know what it is. I know exactly what this flavor is. It's not so much orangey. It's citrusy, right? Citrus of some kind. But do you know at Christmas a lot of times they have those chocolate oranges? I know it sounds weird. It's a chocolate, but it's in the shape of an orange, and you crack it and it has little pieces and you break them up. And it's like dark chocolate, but it tastes like orange. Replace the orange with citrus, some sort of citrus. It's not orange, because orange is like too sweet and tart, you know what I mean? Whereas this is more acidic and mellow, so like it's not lime, because lime is sharp. It's not lemon, because lemon is way sour, you know what I mean? But it's a citrus that it's a really nice flavor. All right, let me put just a dash of water. These are, like I said, these are cask strength, so that might have been a dash more. It'll be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna get a drink too. Got to clean your palate. Got to clean your palate and clean your house. No, so the thing with drinking and tasting whiskeys is you don't want to overload your palate. That's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to overload, because if you overload your palate, then you'll just start tasting weird off notes. So if it gets to the point where you're like, man, I'm not getting a whole lot on it, you need to take a break. Because I've done, trio tastings over and over and over again. And then you're like, oh crap, I can't taste nothing. You get palate blind, you burn your palate out. But sometimes you got to go eat food. Sometimes you're done for the day. Sometimes it just depends. But anyway, let's get back into the Percheron. I hope that's how you say it. Okay, so with water, so I probably have, I don't know, not even a half an ounce of whiskey in here. And I poured more than a couple of drops, right? So this probably might be 40% by now, which is okay. It's okay. Okay, so now it's a lot of that coffee has subsided, and it's turned into like a molasses, but like almost like Karo syrup type, the dark Karo syrup, like when you put it on put it in a pecan pie or something, you lick your finger. It's not molasses because it's not that dark, but it's definitely like a caramelized sugar. So on the palate, of course, I added water and then drank it. So it's a little fractured. Probably proofed it too fast, too hard. But the flavor that I'm getting off of it, I would do it scientifically, normally, if I'm sitting with it and wanting, but I feel like the Percheron in itself, it thrives in that cask strength flavor, because this got mellow, dull. The only thing that's left on my palate is a little bit of stringency from the alcohol, and it's good. It's still good and it's drinkable, but it's almost to the point of like you wanted that cask strength. So let's try the Shire Oak and see what it did. Now it's about the same as the other, but when I swirl it in the glass, you can see the legs and the oils just coming out of this thing. So this one might do better with a little proofing down. So this one might be right at 40% too. Oh man, what did I get? Man, it was there. It's like a honeyed, what was it? Honey, not a biscuit, but like maybe like a honey pancake. You know how it's kind of like, or a waffle, maybe a waffle with honey on it. Because waffles they kind of have that little raised edge that can kind of get crispy, and like that crispiness kind of gives it a darker taste to it. Both of these are very dark whiskeys, dark in their profile, dark in their their taste, and I enjoy that in a whiskey, especially a Texas whiskey. Okay, so what that did with the Shire Oak, you can definitely taste the rye impact. If it's not rye, I'm sorry, but you can definitely taste that. It's like not a grassiness, because grassy can be an off flavor. It's not so much grassy, but it's like a herbal part of it coming through, where the herbs are less like anise or cinnamon, and it's more like maybe fennel, but it's more like cardamom or caraway, something like that, where it's a little floral, but yet herbal at the same time, if that makes sense. I know sometimes tasting notes, like when you're giving tasting notes, sometimes you don't do the whiskey any justice, which that sucks. And I hope, Tim, I did these justice. But sometimes when you're doing tasting notes, you just get I'm going to say a weird flavor, and you're like, it tastes like toothpaste. You're not saying it's bad, but it tastes like toothpaste or whatever, so like when you're trying to find a tasting note, it's all pattern recognition in your head. Tasting whiskey is, you don't have a thing for that, so your brain inputs, this tastes like grandma's cookies. No, it doesn't. It does not taste like grandma's cookies at all, but it tastes like the memory of that. Well, how do you taste a memory? You can't taste a memory. So that's the strange part of it is, you're giving tasting notes, and I'm trying to be very legit with my tasting notes, because I want this to be a actual review. I want it to be, Tim was nice enough to send me these samples. I want to make sure I do them justice, and if they were crap, I would tell you they were crap. Okay. I'm not one of those that's like, oh, this is so good, and then I, pour it out. No, that's not me. If I don't like it, I'm going to let you know I don't like it. I feel like the Shire needs more time. It's a little younger. It's a little more, it needs a little more mellowing. You know what I mean? Like to mellow out. I don't know if it's ready to bottle, if it's not going to be bottled for 8 months. I'm going to get with Tim, and I'll maybe try and put it in the description below or whatever, if he tells me. But anyway, that's going to do it, because I don't want to do these any more justice than I already have. So if you guys are ever around the Houston area, go swing by Shire and give them a look. And then they're right down the road from Yellow Rose. You could hit up both of those distilleries. So that's kind of cool. So I can't wait to get over there, talk to Tim, do a part 3, I guess, because this will be part 2. Do a part 3 of our podcast, and then hopefully he'll have, he said he had a bunch of distillery exclusives. It'd be cool to pick up some of them as well. Some of the port finished and the this and that. I love a good, I know there's whiskey people out there that are whiskey purist, right? And they're like, if it's not from that one barrel, I don't want it, or double barreled or whatever. I love a good finished whiskey as well. I'm sorry, I do. That's coming from a guy who likes Scotch, and Scotch is mainly 99% of the Scotch is in a barrel that used to have something else in it. So I love a good finishing barrel, especially a sherry or a port or something like that. I love a good finished barrel. So anyway, I hope this was enjoyable for you, and for the listeners, I'm sorry if you couldn't visualize what I was tasting in your ears, but go check it out on the YouTubes. It'll be on there. So anyway, I think that's it. I was going to say something else. Oh, also, I don't know if I talked about this, but my challenge coins are out. Yeah, we got the little shaman on them. And they say, keep your spirits up on the back. I got these. They are for sale for donation. If you guys want one, DM me, pick me up in the comments. I'm getting a mailing list of people. If you are out of the country, we need to talk about it, because I just shipped something to Scotland. It wasn't cheap, and it's probably going to take 4 weeks for dude to get it. So anyway, if you're in US, it's not as big of a deal, but if you're out of country, we need to talk about it, because you might not want just a challenge coin that costs that much. So anyway, until next time, you know what to do. Keep your spirits up.